He wanted to drink. He wanted his daddy to go get some water in the bike.
I thought Stacy would like to hear about you going to the movie, you know, and the car getting stuck, you know?
Oh yeah, that was when Nan was Nan Lillian was. Papa used to go bring. We were raising one of my first cousins after Grandpa and Grandma died. They was raising. She stayed with us, and so Papa used to go bring her and the neighbor's daughter to dance in Homer. They used to go to the dance. And you couldn't get them out before the midnight. When at midnight they'd play Home Sweet Home, well, the band would stop playing, you had to go. So we'd go to the movie, me and Papa, with the children. I had Elsa and Cecile then. And that night we had those two girls and Uncle Tom, Uncle Magic, two of Papa's brothers that were young. Well, they was in the back seat, you know. And when Papa we went to go get him at the dance hall over there, the light burned out on the car. The light burned out. And Papa said, well, that's something. So we had to pass through town to come home. The cops right on Main Street, there was 4th Street, right there. He jumps on Papa's fender and he takes the key off the ignition, stopped the car right in the middle. And the old car, and he tells Papa, he says, you're driving without light. Papa said, I know. He said, when I went to put, start the motor, he said, the lights, he said, I'm trying to find a place, going to try to find a place. At midnight, they didn't have nothing open in town to fix the light. So, he says, I'm going to excuse you, but he said, you better go right straight and have your light fixed. Grandpa, Daddy said, that's where I was going. Well, he says, go on. Well, Papa said, you stop the car. Now you crank it. You had to crank it.
Oh.
And the only way he had to crank it, that he could start it, he had to put the jack one wheel to crank it so it wasn't hard, you know, right on the street. And Papa didn't tell him. All the cops goes, crank it, didn't want to start. He said, he tells Papa, he says, you're going to have to get out of here. Papa said, you stop the car, you start it, I'll get out. To the cop. Uncle Magic and Uncle Tosh did this. They want to be like little children. They were scared. Papa was talking to them. But Papa knew that he was one that used to like to do things like this. He wasn't supposed to stop Papa's motor. He stopped the motor. Papa couldn't start it. He was having trouble, you see. So the cars from all, you see, it was that car here, and here, the horns, they were all blowing that horn to get out. Nobody could move. Papa was right in the middle.
And you had to jack the wheel up to start a Model T forward.
That's right.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What was the purpose of
You
doing
see, it
that,
was too hard to crank the motor. You see, and if you jack a wheel, you know, the wheel would turn. It wasn't on the brake, you see. So he had to call the cop had to go get the men in the car to come help and push Papa out of the way, so Papa could get out. Papa wasn't going to move. He stayed under his wheel. Papa said, they said, they're going to put you in jail. Papa said that. Let him try it.
I thought it was interesting when you'd come down the bayou, the road was muddy and they'd have 2 ruts in the road and the wheels would fit the rut and you couldn't get out because it would get deeper and deeper.
Yeah. They had one place where the rut would go in the ditch and then the car, you get sure. So I told Papa, I said, get out of that rut. I said, you're going to fall in that hole in the ditch over there. And I said, I'm going to tell you, I'm not pushing on the car. He said, so, Don, didn't you? Oh, I'm going to get it out. He said, don't worry. They never could get it out. So he fell in and the car went on the side. So they had to, so Papa said, no. He said, what you going to do? I said, what are you going to do? Get out from there. I never drove the car. I got under the wheel. And I said, you go out and push. I'm not pushing. I had pushed it, and I had told him, you know, that not to take that rut, because that was the one that he'd fallen. That I wasn't going to push again, because I was hurting my back pushing on that door. I said, you push. And he okay, he said, drive. So when I got in, I wanted to give him the wheel. He said, no, no, you wanted the wheel, you got it. Get the car in the yard now. He said. So I got it in the yard. So when I went to get it in the garage, I'd come, I would have hit the post, you know, I'd back up. I'd choke the motor. Papa started again. I did it again. The fifth time, I got out the car and said, you can get your car and all your driving. I never did drive.
I thought it was,
I left the car right in the middle of the yard.
I thought it was interesting when y'all were coming back from the movie. The car got stuck in the rut. And you had a flat.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the road. Him and Nan Lilia, he had let down Uncle George, had let down Lenora, the friend, and then he was at him. And when he was about an acre from the house here, right in the middle of the road, they got stuck. He said, well, Nan, all we got to do is take our shoes off and walk barefooted. Tomorrow morning, you see, I'll come get that car.
You could leave it
He
because
left it there.
you could leave it. He was the only one with the car.
Yeah. He knew nobody would come.
No traffic.
No traffic. So early in the morning, he went with his shovel and some planks or something, kind of shoveled and put a jack, and he raised the wheel and put some planks underneath it, out the hole.
See how easy you have? You don't have to jack your wheel out to start your car.
I wouldn't have.
Then he bought, when Dad was a little, about 2 years old, he bought the Chevrolet. And boy, that Matt said, no, she said, we won't wake up the people at night, because Matt said,
It wasn't as noisy.
they couldn't make no, I guess the muffler must have been there.
Okay, we're gonna stop.
I said,
Why don't you tell us about your life as a child and growing up in this kind of life, and your did you have friends? What kind of school? You know, talk about your school and.
I think we entertained ourselves in families. We didn't have, the relatives were friends, but we didn't have friends that would come visiting because we all walked. You walked everywhere you wanted to go.
Y'all didn't have bicycles or anything like that? No, there was no bicycles back then?
No, nothing like that.
you couldn't ride the road was so rough,
Yeah.
it didn't pay to have a bicycle, it would be too
Oh,
rough.
it is.
I'd walk to visit my grandmother and relatives, you know, and you'd walk to meet some friends on
Oh,
Sunday.
yeah.
They'd meet, the young one would meet in a house and was there, but
Mhm.
Sunday some of them would walk and get together
Mhm.
on Sunday.
Did you have chores? Did you have to do like certain things when you got home from school?
Well, one weekend I would scrub the floor, you know, with a brush on my knees, not vacuum cleaner, and with soap and water. And we usually had one bar of octagon soap that did everything. You bathed, you washed your hair, and you washed your clothes and the floor. With
Did you
this.
make the soap?
No, we'd buy
Buy the
yellow
soap.
soap, big bars of yellow soap. And one weekend I would scrub the floor and Elsie would do the washing. Then the following weekend I would do the washing and she'd do the floors. And we'd do our ironing on Saturdays for Mom. We'd do all her washing and hanging the clothes out on the line.
Mm-hmm.
You have them dry now. And we'd iron with these little iron, you know, you'd heat the iron on the stove, you know.
Oh,
and-
I've seen one
Yeah,
of those.
that's what
We
you
had
do.
one of those.
And we did all of our starch clothes. Our
Yeah,
clothes
we had
were
to starch, we
then.
didn't have no farmer press, we had to starch
Yeah.
everything.
So we'd do all that on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
And Elsie would take half and I'd take the other half. But I think sometimes I'd get the largest half. I always felt like I got the largest half.
Wow, the truth comes out.
Oh, yeah. And to scrub the floor, to get it nice and yellow, we take brick and you pound it till it powdered, you know, and after you get through washing your, scrubbing your nice wood floors, you'd spread that around and then you'd sweep it and your floor would come out nice and real yellow looking, real clean.
Just wooden floors.
wood floors, cypress wood floors.
Big, the cypress factory
Yeah, real nice.
was a foot wide.
Yeah, that was all gathered on the places.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had their own wood. And I guess I could tell her how I started school riding a boat.
Yeah.
The boat would come, then it would come in front of the house, and I'd get in the boat with my little bucket for my lunch, you know.
Okay, do you have a little slate?
No, we had pencil and paper then.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody brought their lunch, and everybody had these little round buckets, you know, with the handle. And we'd ride the boat to school, and I think I may have been in second grade when they finally bought a truck.
You were pretty little, because I can remember your daddy, when they came with the truck, when it would rain, they'd stop about
About a mile up there.
no, not that
Half
far,
a
that
mile.
was, let me see, about 6 acres from here.
Okay.
And I can remember daddy bringing you over there and put your shoes over there,
So I wouldn't have mud on.
so it wouldn't have mud on her shoes, because it had rained. When it would rain, well, they'd come here and pick her up.
Now, this was a truck with kind of a tent, you know, in the back. You didn't, the driver was in the front, but this was like back of the truck with the tent. And the oldest boy would sit in the back so the younger kids wouldn't fall off the seat.
Yeah.
They'd have like 3 seats, just like our bus today, but it was open, so you just hop in and look like a covered wagon type
Yeah,
thing.
like a covered wagon, that's what it was.
And I don't remember how long we rode those trucks.
I don't
It
remember.
must have been 2-3 years before we got a bus like
a
we have
bus,
today.
And it was Mr. Amay Theriot who had the bus. His daddy was in the school board, and they had to buy that bus to transfer the children, you see.
But I used to do my homework with the coal oil lamp. And Mom and them would go to bed, and she'd leave the fireplace going. I remember, you know, and before I'd go to bed, my job was to cover the coals with
Ash.
the ashes, so that when Mama would get up in the morning, you separate the ashes, and all these coals are nice and bright, she could start her fire. And I did that every night.
She'd always there. Everybody was in bed. She was
I'd
studying.
always tend to those coals.
How
And-
old were you when you started school?
I started school, you could go at 5 years if you were smart
You had
enough.
to be 6.
Did, I thought sometimes you'd slip
You
them in.
could, well, yeah, Elsie, we slip in Elsie. Elsie was smart, that little thing. And
They weren't,
if you were, you'd be 6 years old, I believe, in November and December, you could start.
they weren't
You'd
as
still
strict
start.
about checking
Yeah.
ages then.
That if your child was, some of them was too spoiled, they couldn't, they'd send them back home. They couldn't do nothing with them, you know?
Yeah.
I think when I saw my first, now when I was young, they used to have tents that would come and you'd see these movies that they'd crank, you know, like this. That was part of our entertainment. And I think the first movie that I went to, Mrs. C.X. Henry took the kids to town and I saw Anne of Green Gables.
Oh,
And it was
yeah.
one of the first talking motion pictures.
Now,
It was a very great occasion.
talking about that tent, you remember Uncle Claude taking you and Elsie with Adela and Lucille? Okay,
I know Al Jolson.
yeah, they were
came
down
to
the
town.
bayou, you remember the
Yeah.
tent? Okay, Uncle Claude, my brother, stopped here, he had his 2 daughters, and he took her and Elsie, my 2 daughters here. And so it was so much to get it, yeah, and you could see everything, get in the tent. So much, that's how it read, you know. So my brother said, Papa would give money to pay their fare. He said, well, it's just so much to get in the tent, that's all, John. He said, that's all they need. So Papa just gave him that. When he came back, he was jolly, my poor brother. He said, y'all ever heard, he said, 10 cents to go in and $1 to get out? He got the children for 10 cents a piece, but by the time inside the big tent, they had small tents. Yeah. So the children. But by the time he got at the other end, it cost him $1 to get off. You couldn't back up. You had to keep going. And at each little tent, you had to pay again. You understand?
Yeah.
That boy, he laughed. He said, "You ever heard it say about 10 cents to go in and $1 to get out?" Well, he said, "That's
Weird.
But the movies would go around the country like circuses, you know, and children
Yeah.
in tents.
What if you didn't have any more money?
once a year they'd come."
I guess you.
They had a
you
round,
know.
they'd make it the United States, then next year, the same months, they were back. And his name was Mr. Ford. It's the man that owned that old man. You talk about a mean old man. One night we went, he got in a fight with one of the workers, and he caught a bat. Boy, we were afraid that we were going to witness a murder if he had hit that man. One of his workers, I don't know what for, they got in a fight. Everybody got out of the tent. Everybody was getting out. He came with his bat and stood at the entrance and he told the people to go ahead and sit down. Like he forced us to stay. Talk about scared. That was a mean old man. Guarantee you, he'd
You
run.
need to ask the question.
What did you do about dating? I mean, how did great-grandpa Theriot react to you dating?
We did not date.
You did not date. Well, I
Well,
That was
no
no cars.
But you're telling the story about
Well, I mean-
the guys coming. Remember the story you told me? All the guys coming to see you?
About those two boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the only time Grandpa told them they were too old to take Elsie and I out. And I remember I obeyed my father, you know. That didn't bother me any, the boys left. But we didn't date because there was no transportation, and the boys probably didn't have the money. They probably were
No,
broke.
but I mean,
too.
did they come over? And did they
No.
never came over?
No, not until I was older.
How
We didn't
old
have
was
that.
old?
I didn't date until
Oh, Elsa
I
was-
went to work.
Yeah, that's true.
That was unheard of.
Where did you go to work?
No, when they had
How
a
do you
dance, that you had a chaperone to bring the girls.
Yeah, the mama would sit in the back seat and the boy would drive in the front seat. That's the only way you got to go out.
That's right.
You
And they
have
had
it
an old
easy.
lady that used
I can imagine.
to bring, she used to bring her 2 daughters, and she stopped my neighbor, stop here, I'd get in, I could go with her because she was there with her daughters.
You did not go out unless you had an older person.
An older person with you. Oh, no.
Unheard of.
And the boys, to dance, they had to have their coat and they had to have a tie. They'd sweat, the poor boys dancing. They wouldn't miss a dance. Now they don't dance no more, the young ones. It's just the old people that dance.
Well, after I graduated from high school, I went to work. It was the war, World War II was not started yet, but they were drafting the men, so the ladies had to go to work. And I took a man's job in St. Martinville, Louisiana. I replaced the man, and I made 18 cents an hour. And I was a teleprint operator for Western Union. And from there, they transferred me to Bunkie, and I think I had a 2 cents an hour raise, which we thought was great. I was making 21 cents an hour. And from there, the government passed this law where you could go to different schools, you know, because they needed nurses so bad. So I went to school at Hotel View School of Nursing as a cadet nurse. And by that time, the war was started, and most of the registered nurses had gone to war, you know, so the student nurses manned the hospital. And that's how I met my husband, because he was in the service stationed in New Orleans.
It's my grandpa.
And he thought we should get married before he went overseas, because I wouldn't be waiting for him.
So did you?
Yeah, we got married. He said if we didn't get married, he was afraid I wouldn't be
Well, they had
waiting.
so many good boys that it would happen, you know.
Yeah, they'd go off and the girls would
I
go.
saw they were worried about that. They don't
You are
lose us.
pretty. I've seen some pictures of you.
And he thought I wouldn't wait. I probably might not have waited.
I bet you would,
Maybe
but you
so.
weren't like Elsie.
Yeah.
Elsie wouldn't, well, Elsie didn't, they married the one,
Yeah, but at that time, the only way you could get a pair of shoes, you had to have a coupon. You know, how did they call that? It was ration. You had to carry your sugar ration coupon everywhere you went, and
you had each of them.
lard, cooking oil.
They had all
ration.
kind of little stamp, that
Yeah.
little book, and one for salad, one for coffee, one for sugar, one
Shoes.
for this and that. Could get more. All you could get was, I can remember me, I couldn't do without my bread. I used to love my bread. And you couldn't have but one slice of bread a day. That's all you could eat, your ration, you know.
Yeah.
And they knew that and that slice of bread, you had to bake it yourself, your breads. When they knew how much you could bake, I guess a loaf would last so long, you know, in a family. But you see, everybody had that stamp. And Cecile and Elsie didn't drink coffee, so we could have 1 pound of coffee a month. And they gave us the stamps. So I can remember Papa's mom, she was old. All she had was one stamp, and she had gone to stay with her daughter. And she used to love her coffee strong. And that would last, a pound of coffee. She was used to having all she wanted.
Stacy wants to know what a typical day in this area was. Well, my father would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning because he trapped, and
And Mama would get up and bake the biscuits so he'd eat before he leave.
and the reason he'd get up early is because you could not leave an animal in a trap too long. You know, it's not only cruel but also they learn. You know, and Mama would get up and bake the biscuits. We'd eat our biscuits and go outside, I guess, and wait for the bus. Not the bus, the boat. Forgot about that boat.
Changing times there.
Yeah,
Bus boat.
The bus boat.
the bus boat.
Okay.
And I remember I'd have to be careful not to get too close to the motor because you might burn your arm. And at school we had reading and arithmetic.
Reading, spelling,
And-
and arithmetic.
We used to have that book that said, Alice said, come cat, come to dinner. I still remember all that. But one of the things I'd like to
See
mention,
Rover. Come Rover.
Come on.
and
See
I
Rover run.
Oh, yeah.
did
That was
not,
the first book.
I did not speak English, which is interesting. So the first thing the teacher had to do at school was to teach the children how to speak English. And we were forbidden to use our French at school, which they have now realized is a big mistake because we did not teach our children.
That's the reason why the last 3 of my children started, stopped teaching them French. Roy, Patrick, and Clint.
When did you learn how to speak English? Did you always know how to speak English?
Well, my daddy always did the kind of, and before I was old enough to go to school, they couldn't send you to school before you were 10 years old on account they had cattle at large on the road,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to be old enough to walk 3 miles. 10 years old is, you wouldn't do it now. I wouldn't send a child 10 years old walking 3 miles now. And my daddy used to speak English. He had learned him,
Okay.
and he used to teach us, so.
Mhm.
And then they had a lady that needed a babysitter, because she had to wash with a washboard outside, we didn't have electricity. So I'd go babysit for her. her little baby, and she'd teach me how to read in English, and my grandma would teach me French. So I could read French and English, both. So I knew pretty good, well, how to speak it.
Okay, so the school had to teach you English.
Right,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we were forbidden to
Oh,
speak
yeah,
a word of
they were
French.
punished.
And that's why, growing up, we still have that hang-up
What hang up?
about speaking French, which I think is a shame because now they want us to speak French.
Oh, c'est tu te rappelles que t'as dit que tu voulais pas aller à l'école parce que...
Oui, mais je veux pas dire ça,
Oh,
c'est...
t'allais laver votre figure?
Now wait a minute.
Is that an inside joke?
Yeah, it is.
One friend, when friends, the teacher was gonna punish them the next day. Because they had a little girl that, her mama would never wash her hair and her face. She was dirty all the time, and the teacher
They
was
used to
was
examine our fingers.
yeah, was gonna examine their face and their hair and their fingers the next day. And Cecile didn't want to go back to school. Because she was gonna wash them up, you know? She
Yeah.
was gonna give them a bath. And Cecile said, I'm not going. She said, if the teacher's gonna, you know, she didn't want to be bathed.
Goodness.
Well, that's a shame. We, after, you couldn't speak anything but English at school, so gradually the children, you were made to feel embarrassed if you were bilingual. And that's sad.
That
Yeah.
is.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And if you didn't speak English, they wouldn't look at you
That's
like you
right.
were no, you know, you
Which
were
is
the worst.
unfortunate now,
No.
because we've lost our...
And people got to the point where they were ashamed to speak French.
I was always plagued with my accent. Like it was kind of ridiculed like. Of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
now it's different. People are a little more educated.
Oh, yeah.
Were y'all discriminated because y'all lived on the bayous?
I think
and
so.
Oh,
Y'all
yeah.
Oh,
were
definitely.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
from
Oh, yeah.
the people in Homa, the
Yeah.
town?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We were called down the bay.
Down the bar.
Down on the bayou.
And the demarcation line is at
And one
church.
day I got mad. I said, let me tell you something, y'all city rats. That's what y'all are. I said, if it wouldn't be the people from the country, you all wouldn't have nothing to eat.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we were sort of discriminated against because...
The people from the country were making the food, and they would, if it wouldn't be for the country, the city people would starve. You have nothing to eat.
Exactly.
You know, people didn't think about this. And
Did
I
you
said,
go
I
to
said, y'all are city rats. You're eating our product.
Go to school with who?
the city kids?
Yeah. Well,
Did they treat you any different?
well, they were more, I guess as time went on, I had a lot of friends, is that what you mean? And I went to the Catholic school, St. Francis de Sales Academy, which is demolished now. And they were a little better, but still you were looked at, you're from the country.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And over here on the bayou, you're either from up the bayou or down the bayou. If you're from down the bayou, the up the bayou looks down on you. Yeah, I
But
think
you know,
so.
even when I was coming,
Down the bayou. If you're from down the bayou, the up the bayou looks down on you. Yeah, I
but
think
you know,
so.
even when I was coming
Yeah.
up here,
It's
we
really unfortunate,
we stopped to get some directions, and the way they presented it to me is, are you going up the bayou
Or
or
down
down the
the
bayou?
bayou.
And then I just made that connection. I was
Yeah.
like, I think
Yeah.
I'm going down, because I remember
Yeah.
it being farther.
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
still there's people don't understand which is down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I think when I graduated from high school, I was the first graduate close to the Gulf of Mexico in this area that had ever graduated from high school. And the furthest one down the bayou.
And you were
And I was valedictorian in school.
in school.
Wow.
I also got one of the highest awards in my class, so they must have liked me.
You
which
got
was
the American medal?
American Legion Award.
You showed those city
So,
rats.
that's right.
They
And I'm still friends with them. We had our 50th class reunion last year.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Yeah, but
That's
people are,
exciting.
people are learning now, you know, that.
Yeah, it's a little better educated people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that,
you don't look down on people
you don't
because
look
they're
down
French
on
people.
That
But